There, finally, technology working in my favor today. Welcome back to the Open Wheel Offline League, Season 4, race number 11. We're over halfway into the season as we get set to go under the lights here in Iowa, shortest track of the season, as let's go through your starting lineup for today's event. So starting out back in 24th, last race winner Ethan Martz did not do too well in qualifying. Neither did his teammate Mahavir Raghunathan, who starts in 23rd. 22nd, also a recent race winner, Lindsey Brewer won on the streets of Detroit, but is going to be starting deep in the field today. So we're going to have to see if she can keep her top 10 streak. As 21st is Miles Rowe, who did very good on a late race restart at Mid-Ohio and finished inside the top 10, but starting deep in the field today. Also been running pretty well recently, the 99 of Brendan Hubbard, who starts from 20th. As we move on to 19th, tied his best result of the season at Mid-Ohio, finished 5th, Stingray Rob, but pretty far down in points still, as 18th crashed out early. It's Gail Barnhart, who qualified pretty well at Mid-Ohio and Detroit. Then we move up to 17th, and that's Glubler Lore. Been pretty good on the ovals. We're going to have to see if he has anything tonight to move through the field. As 16th is Benjamin Peterson, who currently is just inside the leader circle in 20th in points. That's an extra $1 million. 15th, but yet last in points, got his first top 10 of the season, Alessio Deletta. Got his first top 10 of the season at Mid-Ohio. And then 14th and 13th are Team Egg's teammates Jacob Abel and Robbie Lohr, starting in the middle of the pack. As we move up to 12th is the 07 of Catherine Legg. Looked pretty good on the ovals so far this season. Gonna have to see what she has tonight. And then in 11th, Texas winner Yuki Tsunoda. Gonna see if his oval skill can carry over. 10th, finished second at Texas earlier in the season, but crashed out at Indy. To 25 of David Malukas was also the biggest mover at Milwaukee. Gonna have to see what he has. And then in 9th, has two back-to-back second places. Callum Ilott went from 13th to 4th in the standings. As now we move up to 8th, Guy Gagne in those bright yellow colors now, looking for another good result in the Jegs car. And then 7th, Dorian Pin, the furthest back qualifying car of the Swindlers of the Immortals. 6th is Chet Jordan, who finds himself in the middle of the Swindlers. And then 5th and 4th, okay, 5th and 4th are Shane Van Gisbergen and Louis Foster, 2nd and 1st in the championship currently. Finished 3rd last race and starts 3rd today, Marcus Armstrong, best qualifying effort of the season outside Detroit. And then 2nd, not able to get pole number 6 of the season, Ryan Preece, but looks pretty fast. And then on pole for the first time in his career, Connor Zilich will leave the field to green. Now, we're going to go for a double file, so this will be the start, but we'll pretend like it isn't. So, as you can see, the sun is setting, and going to be racing under the lights. As you look at the weather, 5 mile per hour wind speed, 76 degrees, but only 78 track temp, so weather is going to be quite interesting to watch today. Tire degradation is going to be interesting to watch. And there's going to be one pit stop in the middle of the race. So we're not going green this time to allow a double file start. So right now it's been a pretty interesting start to the season with 9 cars within one race win of the championship lead, which has not happened before. So the championship is still very wide open, as no one has really had the consistency to do well. Connor Zilic, however, looking at what could be his second race win if he could convert today. So we're going green this time, gonna line up double file. Quickly take a look at your starting grid once again as it scrolls across the top. 125 laps. As I said earlier, shortest track of the season. Second short oval. Third one will be Nashville a lot later in the season. Going to be very competitive tonight. Iowa was last used back in season 1 and put on a hell of a show with the number 18 of Chet Jordan getting his first race win. And he starts from 6 today, so watch that 24. Pace car pulls off. Connor Zilic hits the accelerator. We are green here at Iowa. Ryan Preece into second, Marcus Armstrong in third. Louis Foster, however, on the inside already looking to make a move to get onto the podium. Marcus Armstrong way loose in the middle. He's going to hang on coming out of the turn. First lap already complete. As Shane Van Gisbergen now in fourth. Connor Zilic got away well, but here comes Van Gisbergen looking for his second win of the season in that 43 car. Finished fifth in his last race here at Iowa back in season 1. Ryan Preece tracking down Connor Zilic for the race lead. Preece looking for his second win of the season. Back here, Shane Van Gisbergen has seemed to have gotten around Marcus Armstrong. It's gonna be not too long before they're gonna have to start lapping the back of the field. So how much do you push now and burn fuel and burn tires? Right now, David Malukas moved up 4 spots on the start. Pretty good start for that 25. The double zero of Glubler went from 17th to 12th. So he's up 5 spots. So a couple big movers there. You know that double zero is fast on ovals. As Robbie has dropped all the way down to 21st. He is struggling to move forward. Dorian Pinn and Jacob Abel battle for 10th. As Callum Ilott going to be caught off guard, and that's going to allow Abel to go around both of them. Dorian Pinn drops out of the top 10. Shane Van Gisbergen still holding on to third. A lot of side-by-side battling. Marcus Armstrong hanging on to a fourth. He is currently outside the leader's circle. Only car in the top 10 to be outside the leader's circle, so desperately needs a good result. Teammate Chet Jordan not far behind, battling David Malukas for 6th. As the 42 of Gale Barnhart, a third Silly Men racing car, hanging on 11th as Callum Ilott is dropping backwards and Glubler continues to move forward. Half a second lead for Connor Zilic now. Ryan Preece trailing. Marcus Armstrong back in third. Shane Van Gisbergen holds on to fourth. Louis Foster fifth. Chet Jordan in sixth. He's chasing down the 11. Let's go on board really quick. Trying to get a run. It's a lot about timing. The lights are about to come on the track. 64 continues to try to chase down Connor Zilic. The Zilic looking pretty solid right now. A lot of the field starting to single file out. You do have a little bit of a battle here. Dorian Pin going around the outside of Guy Gagné as he slips back to 10th. As there's a pretty big gap between second and third. Marcus Armstrong kind of in a world of his own right now. Look at this shot. Really see the difference between the cars. David Malukas still holding on to 7th. But here comes Jacob Abel, who is moving forward. Dorian Pin now starting to get adjusted, and she's starting to move back forward. So David Malukas starting to slip back a little, had a very good start, but is losing time now. We're already 16 laps into this thing, and it doesn't look like it'll be long until we start lapping some cars, as Gail Barnhart has now moved into the top 10. So a very good start for him, a good start for the 00 of Glubler. Barnhart, your biggest mover, up 8 spots since the beginning. 00 still hanging on and will get ahead of the 90 of Guy Gagné as he slips back to 12th. Still a lot of battling through the field, but right now that 95 is not far in front of the 9, and we're going to have to see if Connor Zilic can stay ahead of the 64. Ryan Preece was very good at moving through traffic at Indy until he wasn't and made contact and he crashed out of the race. So going to try to avoid doing that today, as Jacob Abel is all over the back of Louis Foster. He is pushing hard early. He's going to move to the outside and he's going to get into 6th if he can hang on here. But Foster not going too hot since the start. Still side by side, as Jacob Abel now will clear him as Dorian Pin is going around her teammate. She's been moving back forward. Lost a lot of spots at the start, but has gotten her footing now. Louis Foster going to try to go back on the inside. But the 03 going to hang on as here comes a 25 of David Malukas. That got very close. And just in front, the 03 and the 75 battling. As Dorian Pin looks like she'll get back into 6th. As Foster and Malukas battle for 8th. And it looks like Foster may be able to hold the position, but the 75 right in the middle of the track. Some very good battling early on in this race. As the 9 has started to lap the field, he has gotten by the 95 of Ethan Martz. And Ryan Preece has lost time. He's now down by a second. So Connor Zilic trying to run away with this thing early. The 54 and 95 struggling on their short oval program this season. And both of them looking to be lapped early, as Malukas now has 8th. And there goes Connor Zilic around Mahavir Raghunathan as he'll slip back into 23rd. And 1 lap down. Chet Jordan still trying to chase down Shane Van Gisbergen, but Van Gisbergen holding strong in 4th. As Jacob Abel and David Malukas now battle for 7th. Malukas starting to move back forward after losing a few spots. You're gonna start seeing which drivers manage their tires better to start this race. Pit window is going to be about 60 to 70 if I had to guess. And now these 3 pretty close together. Gail Barnhart just inside the top 10, but he has the 00 chasing him down for 10th. Catherine Legg battling Benjamin Peterson back here in 14th. Peterson currently leading the way for the Banshees of Little Miami. as Connor Zilic has caught the two stragglers, but now he's going to have to start moving through the rest of the field, which is going to be significantly harder. 1.7 seconds is the gap to Ryan Preece. Marcus Armstrong back here, 3.4 seconds, looking for back-to-back podiums as Shane Van Gisbergen, nearly loses it, trying to pass the 95. It's the 24 of Chet Jordan trying to hang on to 5th, but Dorian Pinn looking fast on the high side. Not able to get there, but Van Gisbergen still has not cleared the 95. As it looks like he is going to lose spots as Dorian Pinn goes around the high side, is going to get the 24 for 5th, and then her teammate Shane Van Gisbergen for 4th. So 2 moves done right there, as Chet Jordan now going to go around Shane Van Gisbergen on the high side and move back into 5th. Sat 43 having a lot of issues with lap traffic early on. As now that Connor Zilic has caught the back, Ryan Preece is closing in. 2/10. Actually, no, he hasn't caught the back, so Ryan Preece just flying out there right now. Had a little trouble with lap traffic, but looks to be closing in as Shane Van Gisbergen has moved back into 5th, passing Chet Jordan on the high side. Connor Zilic leads by 2/10, but that's 64 all over the back now. Back here, the 43 and the 24 still battle for 5th. But right now we have to turn our attention to the lead, as also Callum Ilott has moved into the top 10 once again, getting by Gale Barnhart. But Connor Zilic now catching the 12 of Miles Rowe. Not too hard for the first one. Ryan Preece having a little bit more difficulty. He has gotten by now. Now we have 2 battling cars in front of him. The 99 of Brendan Hubbard and the 47 of Lindsey Brewer. Gonna need to get by both of them pretty quickly, but as he starts getting into some of these battles, it's gonna get increasingly more difficult. Now he's all over the back of 47 as yellow flag, and it appears Shane Van Gisbergen is in the wall. Second in points, has found trouble early on. So he was just on the high side of Chet Jordan, no contact, just loses it. Honestly, that's not going to be a lot of damage on that car, so he is not out of the race, but will go to the tail end of the field and may need to sit on pit road for a little bit. Yeah, just a little spin. See the onboard and see, so you're gonna, just gets crossed up early, tries hanging on to it, he's just gonna go around. As we have pit stops on right now, Connor Zilic stays out, but Ryan Preece comes in, so the field very split, and you're gonna see these guys trying to go to the end, and these guys feel like they're gonna have to pit. Is Miles Rowe gonna get his lap back for being the lucky dog? Gonna have to see who wins the race off pit road. And it looks like Dorian Pinn's going to win the race off pit road. Ryan Preece had a very long pit stop, 10-second stop, and that's going to allow Dorian Pinn and Chet Jordan to jump him. As only 4 cars stayed out, Connor Zilic, Marcus Armstrong, Jacob Abel, and Callum Ilott. So these guys feel like they're gonna have to pit again anyways. But now we have some split strategy here at Iowa. For some reason, the 95, I think he entered a closed pit lane, so needs to let the 12 by. Maybe. Or he's just slow at the back of the field, which also possible. So yes, Miles Rowe will get his lap back. Shane Van Gisbergen has not come back out on track. So he's getting a tow, but he is going to lose a lot of time. So these guys estimate that they're not going to be able to make it on this stop where these guys do. But for the leaders also, they're not going to have fresh tires anyways. This is going to be quite interesting to see how this plays out to the end, and I wonder if Silich is going to be more keen on letting someone by so we can save a bit of fuel. So this is the risky strategy, I'd say, and I'd say Dorian Pin now leads the safer option, as we're going to have to see what this restart has. Shane Van Gisbergen jumps to the pits. We're going to have to see if he can get out in time to not lose another lap. He will exit the pits, and he's going to try to catch up to the rear of the field, but he is 3 laps down and not in contention to win. As Connor Zilich brings us back to green, gonna have to see what happens here. Jacob Abel goes low, and that's going to allow Callum Ilott to go to the high side. As Marcus Armstrong tries to follow into second, but Dorian Pin being held up here, and she's leading that strategy. But now it's Chet Jordan who leads the strategy, and we know he's good here at Iowa. He's won here, he's won the only race here before David Malukas now into the top 5. He's going to follow Chet Jordan as Marcus Armstrong trying to chase down Connor Zilich for the race lead. Jordan leads the safe strategy. Dorian Pin lost a lot of spots on the restart, but not very good on the starts and restarts, as Chet Jordan now battling for third. But here comes David Malukas with this strategy flip 3 wide, right through the middle goes David Malukas. That was bold, looking to correct for spinning at Mid-Ohio. And right now he looks strong. He's been very good on the start and very good on this restart. Marcus Armstrong trying to keep up with Connor Zilich, but back by 4/10. As Louis Foster now trying to go around Chet Jordan for on-track 5th, but on the strategy 2nd. Ryan Preece also lost a lot of spots at the restart, dropped down to 10th. David Malukas still battles Callum Ilott, so fresh tires don't seem to be much of a difference, in all honesty. He's hanging in there. Louis Foster back in 5th, Chet Jordan in 6th. Glubler has jumped up to 7th, so he's having a very good run so far. Lucas wants to get back into the top 10 in points, as Chet Jordan goes side by side with Louis Foster once again. Wasn't quite able to get there. The battle for fifth still on. Ryan Preece now starting to get his footing and moving forward once again. He's not out of this. He now is in seventh, fourth on the strategy. Glubler looking for a top 5 here. But Dorian Pin is also charging pretty hard. And she's going to get by the 0-0. Zilich leads Armstrong by 6 tenths. They're going to be looking to pit in about 10 laps or so. Lucas in third. Callum Ilott now trying to hold off Louis Foster. Foster's got to get by, and he's going to be in fourth. Whoa, Ilott crosses over, nearly goes to the inside. That would have been a bold move. Kinda backs out of it, but still going for it. Chet Jordan, Ryan Preece closing in. They're not done yet. Gail Barnhart has dropped all the way back to 19th. He lost a lot of spots on that restart. So is the 30 of Robbie Lohr. Jacob Abel all the way down to 21st. So he pushed very hard on his tires early on, but struggling now. Armstrong starting to close in on Zilich as Ryan Preece has now gotten by Chet Jordan. That 64 is flying. Looking very quick right now. Of the 4 cars that have pit, Zilich is first, Armstrong second, Ilott fifth. As here comes Chet Jordan, and then Jacob Abel down in 21st. Barnhart trying to move back forward once again. Just picked off 2 cars there, Hubbard and Rowe. Shane Van Gisbergen is going pretty quick, but he is down a couple laps. His battle at this point is the 95 and the 54. As Louis Foster to the outside of David Malukas, this could be for the lead on the strategy. Foster looking for race win number 3 to extend his points lead. 2 seconds behind the number 9, second and a half behind the 33. Chet Jordan still ahead of Ryan Preece, hanging on. Gonna have to see how long that. Whoa, Connor Zilich a little bit of a slide. Tires may be lacking a bit of grip now, as the 33 of Marcus Armstrong still chasing him down. Three tenths is the gap between Zilich and Armstrong, but Foster is closing in fast. He is now down by only 1 second. Malukas has fallen back to about a second and a half behind Foster. As that 11 looks very fast. He didn't look so quick in the first stint, but he is awakened now. That 33 might get picked off here very soon. But I have to see how much he's saving, if he's going to be able to make it to the end. to the outside. Second place. And it looks like he's going to get there. It's Marcus Armstrong down to third. Connor Zilic trying to hang on. I also think Zilic would be okay if Foster led. Maybe save a little bit of fuel. As he's going to lose it, actually, and he's going to go into the wall. Yellow flag is out. The number 9 of Connor Zilic, the second he gets dirty air, spins out. And that is going to be our second yellow flag of the day. So he's on the inside, hasn't been side by side with anyone today, and just loses it. He's already struggling with grip. We are seeing his wheel bobble a lot. But heartbreak for the number 9. Had control for most of this race up to that point. Yeah, just gets a little bit of dirty air on the inside and loses it right in front of the 33. So Armstrong, his life flashed before his eyes. But Armstrong and Eilert going to pit now, and that is going to help all the cars that pit earlier. So Armstrong and Eilert gonna go to the back of the field. Just like that, their days have been imploded. So quick stops for Armstrong, Eilert, and Abel, but they're going to be 18th through 20th now. Mahavir Raghunathan will get a lap back, so he's gonna be on the lead lap now. But the guys that pit earlier, it looks like they're probably going to be able to make it to the end. But the 33, 18, and 75 are going to be fun to watch on this restart. You can definitely bet on that. Lucas looking for his first career win in the Open Wheel Offline League. Got Jordan in fourth, the only race winner here at Iowa. Looking for a strong result. But Louis Foster looking to extend his championship lead. Get a third win on the season. Main championship rival, Shane Van Gisbergen, now down by 3 laps. Connor Zilic looks like he'll finish last. So gonna restart with about 45 to go. These guys should be able to make it to the end now. But if they don't make it, it's going to be very close. Lights on the pace car are out this time. First time we're gonna do a single file restart. Zilic in pit lane, but he may have a little bit of front wing damage. He's actually gonna go out pretty quickly, so not gonna lose a ton of time, but still down by 3 laps, so he's gonna be battling Van Gisbergen for not last. But we are now into the late evening now. As we get ready to go back green, Foster gonna lead the way. Foster gets a good jump. Malukas in second, Priest in third. Mahavir Raghunathan had a big restart. He's up to 19th. Miles Rowe moving forward as yellow flag. what has happened here. A lot of cars just had an incident, and I'm not quite sure what happened. As Connor Zilic is in pit lane immediately, so he may have caused it. No, he spun again. Tried going up the inside of Stingray Rob as Armstrong plows into the back of Lindsey Brewer. And that half spin triggers a stack up. Yellows breed yellows. That is the second yellow flag that Zilic has started today. So let's try to go on board here. Yeah, just tries going up the inside of Stingray. Back here, Marcus Armstrong. We're going to have to see if he got any significant damage. Round goes the 9 and tries to stop, but he runs into the back of the 47. A pretty decent sized impact as Armstrong, Brewer, and Raghunathan, who had the worst of it, all in pit lane. The Raghunathan has a big restart, but loses it all. Ethan Martz will get the lucky dog. Go back on the lead lap. These guys still on the lead lap, but it doesn't look like any of them are going to get out in time. Well, Raghunathan fires off. That looks like he may make it. A tough break, especially for Armstrong. It looked like a very strong run up to that point. Of a 33 and 47 going to be on the back foot now. Yellows breed yellows. At number 9 still out there, running pretty much guilt-free. He got away with it. As the 95 gonna go back on the lead lap, and this is what Shane Van Gisbergen and Connor Zilic want to see, because this gives them a chance to get back and get back some of their laps. So a second lap down for Brewer and Armstrong. Well, Armstrong's going to beat them out. So Armstrong should only be one lap down, so his day isn't over. But he's going to need another yellow. Going green this time. About 40 laps to the end. Let's see what they got. Let's try this again. Foster going to lead David Malukas, followed by Ryan Preece. Green flag is out. Solid jump from Foster. Malukas follows in second. Preece in third. As down the backstretch, near the back of the field, is where we started seeing the stack up. Some cars moving forward. Callum Ilott passing Miles Rowe and Robbie Lohr. As Marcus Armstrong has re-entered the pit lane, so has Raghunathan and Zilic. So more issues for those guys. As Malukas runs in second, but Preece is chasing him down, half a second to Foster. But Preece all over the back of the 25. As as he goes on the inside and he gets the position. Pretty solid dive. Gonna gain him a few spots. He keeps working at it like that, but Dorian Pinn looking for fourth right now on Chet Jordan. Jordan now looking at the inside of David Malukas as he's going to go to third. Malukas way up high. Going to keep Pinn back in fifth. As Priest is now only 3/10 back on Louis Foster. Those two might battle to the end here. As there's going to be some early lap traffic because of the cars that pit on the restart. As Jordan not going to get a good run off the corner, that's going to allow Malukas to keep third. As Priest is now closing in on Louis Foster for the lead. With that other yellow, that third yellow of the day, that's definitely going to let these guys make it to the end. So this is a battle for the win now. The 54 of Mahavir Raghunathan not far up the road. As Ryan Priest all over the back of Louis Foster. Priest won at Richmond last year, which is just a little bit shorter than Iowa, a little bit flatter, but they're not, overall, they're not too different. Right now, Ryan Priest wants to back that up. Had a podium run at Milwaukee as well, but so did Foster. He's going to look to the high side. With about 30 laps to go, Priest is going to get the lead. Foster down to second, Malukas in third. Pinn has gotten by Chet Jordan for fourth. Gagne sitting in sixth, looking for another good result. As Ryan Priest now going to get by Mahavir Raghunathan without much difficulty. Alessio Deletta hanging on to a top 10 right now. But his teammate Benjamin Peterson goes by for ninth. Looking to tie his best result of the season. Louis Foster struggling behind the 54, and he's losing a ton of time, now down by a second to Ryan Priest. He's going to go high, but lost a ton of time as David Malukas going to try to send it up the middle again. 3 wide. That's the second time he's done that. Very bold move. But he's looking at making it look easy as Foster nearly spins it. And that's going to allow David Malukas to get by into second. David Malukas now second. Foster back in third. But 2 seconds behind Ryan Priest. Next lap car for the 64, the 9 of Connor Zilic. Currently runs 23rd. 4 laps down. Lindsey Brewer looks to be like she's the first DNF. She has been in pit lane for a very long time. Battle for 10th now ongoing between Alessio Deletta and Catherine Legg. 24 laps to go. Everyone's got to try to move forward as quick as they can. As I say that, Lindsey Brewer leaves the pits. So she's going to be back out there, but with some damage. So she could be another potential obstacle 22 laps down. Capron leg gonna be looking to the low side, trying to battle for 10th here. As Deletta is going to be on the high side and he's going to get past. Gale Barnhart also moving forward. Callum Ilott not being able to move forward much since the restart. He sits down in 17th. So 2.7 seconds between Priest and Malukas. As Chet Jordan has gotten by Dorian Pinn once again for 4th. Of a 24 looking for a good day today. Back here, Yuki Tsunoda and Guy Gagné battle for 7th. And looks like Tsunoda is going to go around the high side and going to get the position. Yuki Tsunoda now into 7th. Looking for a good day for that 27 team. Been very good at just picking up positions wherever they are and extracting good days out of it, as Benjamin Peterson really stuck up on this 54. He's going to get by. He currently sits in 9th as Chet Jordan now goes by Louis Foster, who's way up high. So a big dive bomb move as Foster tries running a high lane. And that is going to put Chet Jordan on the podium with just 15 laps to go. Looking at tying his best result of the season here. As Glubler is closing in on Dorian Pinn for a second top 5 of the season. He's running way up high, and he's going to get the position. So round he goes by the 03. Magenta Trees now have a car in the top 5, but the 03 gonna try to fight back. With 12 laps to go, Glubler cracks the top 5, but the 03 still battling. Oh, big slide for Dorian Pinn on the inside. Priest leads by 2.8 seconds over Malukas with 10 laps to go. Priest has gotten some lap traffic now. But gets by without too much difficulty. So it looks like it could be another race win for Ryan Priest, second of the season. Yellow flag as Shane Van Gisbergen has found the wall once again. So right as I say, it looks pretty solid to the end. Another curveball as Van Gisbergen loses it on the high side once again, and this time he's going to impact the wall. And that looks like that is going to be a day ender. Leave the onboard to see if he just got crossed up again. Just a bit unstable going into turn 1. He's going to lose it. So what looked like was going to be a solid win for Ryan Priest. Now it doesn't look quite so. Gonna have a restart with only a couple laps in this race. There's going to be all to play for. Ethan Mart's gonna get the lucky dog once again. So he's gonna be back on the lead lap once again. So looking at a restart with maybe 4 laps to go, which is what it kind of looked like all the way back in season 1. No shortage of chaos today. So those guys that have looked good on restarts, you're gonna have to watch out for them. David Malukas has looked very good on the restarts, so that 25 is not out of it just yet. 47 dropping to the rear. So it looks like it's going to be a 3-lap shootout to the end of this race. Who is going to get it? Right now, your top 5, Ryan Preece, David Malukas, Chet Jordan, Louis Foster, and Glubler Lore. And then 6 through 10, Dorian Pin, Yuki Tsunoda, Benjamin Peterson, Guy Gagne, and Catherine Legg. A yellow on this restart will end the race. Lights on the pace car are out, so 3 to go. Four yellows on the day. Preece started from second, looking for his second win of the season. And yet, I believe only the 4th of his career. Been an up and down season for him, but so it's also been up and down for Malukas, Jordan. Those two are going to be very aggressive on this restart. So let's get ready to go. Green flag is back out. We have a 3-lap shootout to decide the winner of the Iowa 175. Malukas in second. He's going to have to try to get a run. Chet Jordan in third. Louis Foster did not get as good of a jump, so Glover is going to be all over the back of him in fourth. Foster nearly slides it. That's going to allow an opportunity for the double zero to try to pounce. Malukas just doesn't have enough to get there. He's going to be battling Chet Jordan for second, it looks like. As here we come to the white flag. Ryan Preece looked very fast today. As he's going to take the white flag back here. They're battling for second between Jordan and Malukas. But up here, it is going to be a second win on the season for Ryan Preece as he wins at Iowa. And at the line, Chet Jordan gonna get second over David Malukas. Foster will take fourth, and Glubler will round out the top 5. So Ryan Preece gets the win over Chet Jordan and David Malukas. So what a strong run from Ryan Preece. Looked to be the only person that had anything to contend Connor Zilich at the beginning, but then had just enough fight at the end. So let's take a look at your official results. Ryan Preece, your race winner, 1.1 seconds over Chet Jordan. David Malukas not able to hold on to second. He'll finish in third. Louis Foster has a strong run today in fourth, which will extend his points lead. Fifth, Glubler Lore, second top five of the season for him. Very strong result. Yuki Tsunoda, Benjamin Peterson had strong restarts. They're going to finish sixth and seventh. Dorian Pin dropped back to eighth. Did not have that great of a restart. Guy Gagne will have another top 10 in ninth. And then Callum Ilott broke into the top 10 right at the end there to finish 10th. Catherine Legg will finish 11th. Jacob Abel in 12th. Gail Barnhart in 13th. Robbie, not a strong result. He'll finish down in 14th. Brendan Hubbard will finish 15th. Alessio Deletta not able to hold on to a top 10. He'll finish in 16th. Miles Rowe down in 17th. Stingray Robin 18th. And then Ethan Martz, the last car on the lead lap, down in 19th. Then your cars that had issues, Marcus Armstrong will finish 20th. Mahavir Raghunathan 21st. Connor Zilic 22nd. And then Shane Van Gisbergen 23rd, and Lindsey Brewer in 24th. A very fun and exciting race from Iowa on the short oval. Up next, we return to Canada, specifically Montreal, as we return to Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. It's been a very fun race before, and I can't wait to see it again. And I will see you guys next time out, qualifying on Friday. Hope to see you there.